Jesus is speaking over your soul right now with a tenderness that only heaven can carry, with a voice that moves deeper than your pain and stronger than your doubts. And he is saying, hold on, beloved, because your faith, yes, your quiet, tired, trembling, but unbroken faith, is about to move mountains you once thought were carved in stone. You don't even realize how powerful your prayers have become because you've been surviving in silence, walking through valleys where no one saw how many times you wanted to give up, how many nights you fell asleep crying, how often you whispered to the sky, God, are you even listening? And even when heaven seemed silent, even when the answers didn't come the way you imagined, your spirit kept clinging to something greater than understanding. That is the kind of faith that shakes the gates of darkness. That is the kind of faith that makes angels rise and surround you like a fortress. That is the kind of faith that makes Jesus himself draw closer and whisper into the storm, "Peace, be still," because he saw what others missed. He saw your faith when you had nothing left but tears. He saw you giving when you were empty. He saw you lifting others while no one was lifting you. He saw the way you stayed kind in the face of cruelty, the way you chose love over revenge, the way you kept believing in better even when everything around you looked like it was falling apart. And Jesus says now is the time for your harvest. Now is the time where the invisible becomes visible, where the long-buried seeds begin to break through the soil of delay, where all the no's and not yets begin to make sense in the rearview mirror of divine timing. The mountain you couldn't climb will start to crumble before you, not because of your strength, but because of your surrender. The door that refused to open will suddenly swing wide, not because of your striving, but because of your steadfastness. God's favor is being poured out in ways that logic cannot predict and your enemies cannot stop. Because what's coming to you is not based on your perfection. It's based on your persistence in trusting when it didn't make sense. Jesus is not asking you to perform for his blessings. He's asking you to receive, to breathe, to expect something greater than what this world taught you to settle for. You don't need to chase signs anymore. You don't need to beg for proof. The shift has already begun in the atmosphere around you. And the same faith that carried you through the fire will now lift you into the fulfillment of every promise whispered over your life before you were even born. This is the moment where everything starts to align, where divine power meets human faith, and miracles begin to flood your path in ways that make your heart weep with gratitude. Because what's about to happen in your life is not just for you. It's for every person who ever told you they saw something in you that the world didn't understand, for every ancestor who prayed over your bloodline, for every child you're raising in truth and light, and for every soul who will find hope in your testimony when the mountain finally moves and reveals the sunrise waiting behind it all along. Jesus is still speaking, and his voice is wrapping around every corner of your heart like healing light, flowing into the silent wounds you've carried so long they started to feel like part of you. But he is peeling back the layers now, not to expose your pain, but to wash it clean, because he wants you to understand this. Your faith hasn't just been surviving this whole time. It's been building something in the background of your soul that even you haven't seen clearly yet. Every time you chose to believe when there was no evidence, every time you said amen with a breaking heart, every time you lifted your head when shame told you to bow it down, you were planting something eternal. You didn't even realize it, but heaven kept record of every seed, every step, every breathless yes when all you wanted to do was collapse. Jesus saw when you praised through the pain, and now he's saying, you're standing at the edge of something sacred. Don't turn back now. The enemy has been trying to convince you that nothing is changing. He's been whispering lies that the struggle was wasted, that the prayers were ignored, that your story doesn't matter. But Jesus wants you to know that even the lies spoken against you are being flipped into confirmations, because the louder the resistance, the closer the breakthrough. The pressure you felt lately, that wasn't punishment, it was spiritual labor. You've been birthing something in the invisible realm, something no eye has seen and no ear has heard. Heaven's been moving while you were sleeping. Angels have been dispatched on your behalf, clearing the path ahead of you, preparing divine appointments and unexpected reversals, moving mountains in your name because your faith gave them permission. You may not see it yet, but you will feel it. You'll feel it in the way your spirit starts to rise when you wake up, not with dread, but with a strange new hope. You'll feel it in the people who suddenly show up to bless you without explanation. You'll feel it in the opportunities that open up where doors have been nailed shut. And you'll feel it in the quiet peace that begins to settle over your heart like oil, thick, holy, undeniable. Jesus says the time of mourning is closing. The season of wandering is ending. The desert is about to bloom. Your waiting has not been in vain. What you thought was silence was God setting the stage. What you thought was rejection was protection. What you thought was delay was the divine blueprint unfolding in the only timing that makes miracles possible, God's. He never needed you to be perfect. He only needed you to keep trusting. And you did, even with tears, even with doubts, even when your hands were shaking. And because of that, because you never let go, the reward is going to be bigger than the loss, louder than the disappointment, and deeper than anything you dared imagine. This is not just about receiving a blessing. It's about becoming the kind of person who can carry it. And you, beloved, are ready. Jesus has seen you become stronger in the quiet. He's seen you let go of what you wanted to make room for what you needed. He's seen you forgive people who never said sorry. He's seen you pour out love when no one was pouring it back in. And now he is saying, I have seen enough. The heavens are opening. It is time. Time for your name to be spoken in rooms you've never entered. Time for divine favor to flood your life so heavily it drowns every lie ever spoken over you. Time for your tears to be turned into testimony, your waiting into witness, your faith in a fire that lights the way for others. The same mountains that stood in your way will soon become platforms under your feet. The enemy tried to convince you to give up, but God was only ever preparing you to rise. Jesus continues to speak deeply to your soul, unveiling the profound truth that your faith, though tested, stretched, and sometimes almost broken, has been quietly moving mountains behind the scenes, mountains you never thought you had the strength to face. Every moment you held on to hope when despair threatened to consume you, every whispered prayer in the dead of night, every hesitant step forward despite fear. These were not small acts, but powerful declarations that have shifted the spiritual landscape around you. You see, faith is not just about believing in what is visible. It is a force that breathes life into the impossible, a divine energy that compels the universe to rearrange itself for your breakthrough. The trials you faced, the pain you endured, and the setbacks you thought were the end were actually the crucible in which your spirit was refined. Your endurance was the unseen labor that crafted a legacy of strength and victory. Even in moments when you felt utterly alone, Jesus was with you, walking every step, interceding for you, and preparing your path with heavenly precision. Your faith, though often quiet and unrecognized by the world, became a beacon in the darkness, attracting angels and opening doors to blessings beyond your comprehension. This season of struggle was not a punishment, but a divine preparation, shaping you into the person destined to carry a greater purpose, to inspire and lead others out of their own battles. The enemy's attempts to derail you were met with the unwavering power of your trust in God's promises. Every obstacle was dismantled by the unseen hands of grace working tirelessly in your favor. Now, as the walls that once confined you crumble, you will begin to see the fruits of your faith manifest in ways that surpass your imagination. Relationships restored, opportunities aligned perfectly, and peace that floods your heart despite external chaos. Your story is not one of defeat, but of resurrection. Your tears watered the seeds of miracles that are now blossoming in your life. The mountains that once seemed insurmountable are becoming stepping stones to your destiny. Jesus says this is the moment where your faith moves from being tested to being triumphant, where your prayers ascend like incense and are answered with resounding yes from heaven. The breakthrough is not just near. It is already unfolding, orchestrated by divine timing and fueled by the unwavering faith you held on to when no one else did. Your journey is a testament to the power of perseverance, and Jesus is preparing to elevate you to heights reserved for those who refuse to surrender. He promises that the strength you gained in the struggle will be the foundation upon which your miracles stand, and your life will become a living testimony of His faithfulness, power, and unwavering love. As you stand on the brink of this miraculous breakthrough, Jesus wants you to know that the power of your faith extends far beyond what you can see or understand in this moment. It is a spiritual force that will ripple through every area of your life, touching your relationships, your purpose, your health, and your joy. The mountains you believed were immovable are already beginning to shift because of the prayers you whispered in desperation and the hope you clung to in silence. These are not just abstract promises. This is the very real, tangible unfolding of God's kingdom in your life. Every step you take forward, no matter how small, is infused with divine momentum, propelling you toward a destiny that has been prepared since before you were born. The obstacles that once blocked your path are now being removed, sometimes in ways so subtle you might not notice at first. But the walls are falling, the chains are breaking, and the cages that held you captive are crumbling. Your breakthrough will come with unexpected signs, divine appointments, and blessings so abundant they will overwhelm you with gratitude. But Jesus also reminds you that this journey requires patience and trust. Though the mountain moves, the timing is sovereign, and the process itself is a crucial part of your transformation. The faith that has carried you through the darkest valleys is now being refined into a powerful force that will inspire others to believe, to hope, and to hold on. You are not alone. The angels rejoice over your persistence, and heaven itself is aligned with your victory. You're being prepared not just to receive blessings, but to become a blessing, a light for those still struggling in their own battles. This is your divine appointment, a moment destined to be marked by profound joy, restoration, and peace. As your heart opens to receive this message, Jesus calls you to stand firm, knowing that every prayer you have ever uttered, especially those forgotten or whispered in doubt, are now active agents of change in your life. This is the promise of a God who never forgets, never abandons, and is always working for your good. So hold on, keep your eyes fixed on Him, and prepare to walk through the doors He is opening, doors no one else can see, but that lead straight to your miracle. Your faith is about to move mountains, and with it, your life will be forever changed, uplifted, and glorified in ways beyond your wildest dreams.